y'all, welcome back to my channel. I'm Jamila and this is Jamila Creates, where we create beautiful things, hopefully. Now today we're actually mourning the loss of a beautiful garment, my favorite pair of leggings. I loved these. Loved these. Okay, let me get a good angle on it. You see that moto thing that was so in a couple of years ago? I mean, I know that was a couple of years ago. It's not quite now, but they're just such great leggings. But unfortunately, I'm not sure if the camera angle can show this, but that is the crotch seam falling apart. So there's no helping that. So today I'm going to take them apart and make them into something new. So stay tuned, and of course, if you like this kind of content, please like and subscribe and share. It would mean a lot to me. All right, thank you. Bye. All right, so I started by taking the seams in the front out. Make sure to just seam rip up to the waistband, and then we're going to cut the waistband off separate. Now that we've taken the waistband off, we should have two tubes, and what you're going to want to do is seam rip from the crotch down to the ankles. Make sure to keep the side seams. Now you're going to want to cut off the crotch so that you have a straight line in the middle. And do this on both the front and the back. I had already created a sewing pattern when I found this. This skirt is absolutely perfect. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to seam rip all this. I'm going to have to find fabric for the waistband, but honestly, if I don't mind having seams in the middle of it, which, spoiler alert, it's me, I don't. The only problem is the back and the zipper. I'm going to have to do something about that, maybe just seam rip the zipper off and then have the ends of the waistband be here and here. Alright, so I would apologize for the mess and say please excuse the mess, but I feel like I do that every video, so just, it is what it is. As for the skirt, I kind of cheated. I am sorry about that. So I tried it on earlier. I just didn't feel like putting a bra on before, so I didn't show you guys, but I have it safety pinned all along where I want it. It was kind of like a drape and then go type of thing. I did have to grab some of this though, and that's just because if you're working with a dress that's A-line, you're gonna want to take some of that volume out from the back at least, because otherwise it'll be showing your butt and that's not what you want. Also, this being pinned along here, that means I'm just gonna sew it along here so that it actually covers most of my backside, because this skirt, I'm sure it does in theory, but when I wear short skirts, I'm always a little worried about will it cover. So I did that, and then in the front, how I started with putting this on was putting on the red skirt first, because it's still a skirt, it's simple enough to do, and then just kind of pinning and going around and safety pinning it. If you want to get a friend to help you, that might be better, but for me, I just kind of winged it myself. So this is what it looks like right now. I can't really see my feet, hang on. There we go, but love the length. I think this is a good project if you had like leggings that fit perfectly lengthwise and you're just looking to have that be in a skirt, because guess what, you don't have to do anything now. So I just pull it up a little bit. So yeah, the next step will be, I safety pin this so I can just rip it off. The next step will be making a more more organized way of getting that excess out, because right here it's not too flattering. I'm thinking I'm gonna take this measurement of this clump and put it like on my backside completely, because I'm gonna end up cutting that off anyway, and then just top stitching this. I'm not sure if I want to cut the underskirt off though, because I'm a little worried that it won't fit the same way. Also, that awkward moment where you decide that this is not gonna be a wrap skirt. It'll be a two-tone skirt, but I went and found the zipper that this dress came with, and I actually really like that for this. Also, just, it's not enough fabric for it to be a wrap skirt, unfortunately. If your leggings were a little big on you, then maybe, but whose leggings are big on them? You don't buy leggings to be big on you. And it'll be like this. So I'm really liking how it's looking so far. Now it's just a matter of going down where all the pins are. So after I took the leggings dress off of me, I just went along that area where I had pinned it, and I put more pins just on the red where it matched up so that I could match it up later after I take it apart. And then I started taking the safety pins out so that I could actually start work on it. The next thing that I did was that I added some security to the seams where I'm just going to be top stitching the leggings onto the skirt. Because they're really thin and really stretchy and they tend to roll, I was worried how my sewing would interact with that, so I just took some strips of interfacing and just used that to secure the edge right there. And then I'm just ironing that down in half to make it a stronger, thicker area where the seam's gonna go. Next, I took that ugly clump that was on my thigh that was excess fabric, and I'm just measuring out how big that is. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take half of that and put it in the center back seam, and half of that is going to go in a inner thigh seam that's still behind the rest of the skirt, because I decided that I do want to keep the red skirt in there for structural purposes. So now I'm just taking out the safety pins now that I have it marked on the fabric where it's going to match up to. I can take out the safety pins and just move it along and find where I want that dart and how much I want to take in the center back edge by. And you can see me just pinning that together, flipping it inside out, and making sure that when it comes to the back seam, my dart becomes feeds into the original back seam of the dress. Was that sound effect necessary? No. Did I do it anyway? Yes, and I enjoyed it. Anyway, now we just want to cut off the excess here so that we don't have bulky. So now we're just going to be top stitching. I pinned that back together, matching up the pins on the red with the edge of the leggings. So now we're just going to be using a double needle or a zigzag stitch. I personally had to do a double needle on one side and a zigzag stitch on the other because one of my double needles broke. But we're just going to be sewing that together as a top stitch with the leggings on top. Here's the top stitch on the other side. I'm just being careful not to go over that dart so that I can go ahead and do it later. What I decided to do in the end when it comes to the waistband was I just took the waistband that I had carefully cut off of the leggings at the beginning, and I just plopped that sucker back on there. Okay, so I don't have video of me putting together the skirt and the waistband. Unfortunately, I don't know what happened to that, but I did end up just serging the dart in there and serging it all together before the waistband, just to hold everything in place. I messed up on the waistband and didn't have the seams be on the side like I wanted, so I just kind of added some buttons in there to make it look intentional. Alright, so that was the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I know I did use a serger at one point, but as always, you could substitute that with your sewing machine. And you know, you can really take all these projects I show you and make your own. If you don't like the buttons, no buttons. If you actually do it right, you could put the side seams on the sides, unlike what I did. But that's okay, you know, part of upcycling is just learning how to go with the flow, you know. So yeah. This is the skirt. I'm really excited about it, and I hope you liked this video. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more content like this. We will be going into a new DIY series shortly, pretty soon, so I'm excited for that. This, idea-wise, could fit into the summer one. It could be its own thing, or it could be in the new topic. it's really an all of the above thing, but it's mostly because I love these leggings and I was not ready to say goodbye to them yet. So yeah, if you have any interesting tips or interesting things that you have tried to do with old leggings, let me know in the comments. Happy, and as always, happy sewing.